Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today we're going to be reviewing the VAXEE XES wireless. This is the 4K edition, so this will go up to 4000 Hz polling rate. Shout out to VAXEE for sending this out for review, but as always, that does not affect my opinion of it. So a while back, I actually reviewed the regular XE and I really liked it. I compared it to the G Pro Superlight and it was pretty much a better shaped G Pro Superlight, but it was a little bit heavier than the G Pro Superlight. The XES, as you can imagine, is just a scaled down version of the regular XE, so it is a lot smaller, and that means it does weigh less. The XES comes in at 60 to 61 grams, which is around the same weight as the G Pro Superlight. But it does feel a lot smaller than the G Pro Superlight in the hand, as you can see by the shape comparison on screen right now. So the XES is a lot smaller, but it is still 60 grams, which makes it feel like a pretty dense mouse. So you can definitely feel that weight. It feels like all of that weight is condensed into this small little size here. But I really do like the shape. If you guys watched my original XE review, you'll know that I really like the shape of the original XE. And if you're someone with smaller hands, then you'll probably like the XES if the XE felt a little bit too big for you. For reference, my hands are 19 by 10 centimeters, and the XES feels very comfortable to fingertip grip as well as claw grip. Palm grip, I can't really make that work on this mouse with my hand size, but if you have smaller hands, you might be able to palm grip this mouse, but I wouldn't say this is really a mouse to palm grip. This is more of a fingertip and or claw grip mouse. This is actually a really good mouse for fingertip grip. Like, I could easily see myself using this as a primary fingertip mouse. Really nice shape for that. It's very low in the front and back as well. So this makes for a really good fingertip grip mouse if you are a fingertip gripper. You can see that the mouse pad on my desk right here is actually their PEXL Kumo edition, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But yeah, let's talk more about the mouse here. You can get this in 6 different colorways. There's white, black, pink, which I have here, yellow, blue, and orange, and the XES is currently retailing for $140 USD. Like I said earlier, this is a 4K compatible mouse, so the polling rate goes up to 4000 Hertz. This is the dongle right here that will let you go up to 4000 Hertz. It is USB-C, of course. In the box, you basically just get the mouse and the dongle and a USB-C cable here. This is a rubber cable. It is not braided, which is completely fine if you're only using it for charging. But if you are using it to play, there will be a little bit of cable drag with a rubber cable. So if you are using it to play, make sure you have a mouse bungee. The coating of the mouse is very nice. I've never had a problem with VAXEE coatings. It feels very grippy for me with moist hands. If you have completely dry hands, it is a little bit slippery, but if your hands are a little bit moist, there's no issues whatsoever with this coating. I actually prefer it a little bit more than the coating on the G Pro Superlight 2, but they are very similar, so no real complaints about the coating at all. The build quality here is very solid. VAXEE has always had very solid build quality when it comes to their mice. It feels very solid. The shell is very rigid, and squeezing on the sides has no flex whatsoever. Shaking the mouse, there's no rattle at all coming from the mouse. Just a very solid built mouse, no holes at all either, which adds to just the premium build of the mouse, and it just feels very solid in the hand. The clicks on the XES are the Huano black shell pink dots found in a lot of other of their mice like the NP01S. The clicks here are very tactile, and there's pretty much no post travel, very little post travel here. So very crisp and tactile clicks. Side buttons as well are very clicky and tactile. No real complaints. Scroll wheel has very defined steps as well. It is a little bit tightly tensioned on the mouse wheel, like actual click. The mouse 3 click is a little bit tight, so it's a little harder to press in. So if you need to spam the mouse 3, that is something to keep in mind. But overall, the clicks on the mouse are very solid. Let's do a quick little click sound test for you guys here. And the side play here on the mouse 1 and 2 are pretty much negligible. And yeah guys, the weight balancing here is pretty good. It's towards the center of the mouse. The only thing is, it is still 60 grams at this very small size, and that makes it feel a little bit dense, which is a little bit unfortunate. I wish it was maybe 10 grams lighter, like 5 or 10 grams lighter. I feel like it would feel a lot better in the hand. It does feel very dense right now since it is such a small profile mouse, but it's still weighing 60 grams, and all of that weight condensed into this small size just makes it feel very, very dense in the hand. Okay, let's touch on the skates really quickly. The stock skates here, really no complaints. There is a blue thin cover that you need to peel off. Make sure you peel that off if you are getting this mouse so that you can actually use the actual skates. And yeah, the glide on this is very, very solid. There's no complaints whatsoever. I don't feel any scratchiness on these skates. So really good stock skates out of the box. No reason to go for any third-party skates, in my opinion. Yeah, really no complaints on that. Moving on to the software, this is one thing I love about VAXEE mice is that there is no software that you need to download. All of the settings on the mouse can be changed directly through the buttons on the mouse. So you can change stuff like your DPI, polling rate, liftoff distance, click latency, competitive mode, and standard mode. All of that can be changed directly on the mouse. You can even turn motion sync on and off through different button combos, and all of that is on VAXEE's website. They even have a dedicated YouTube video showing you how to do all of that. So very, very convenient. I love that you don't have to download any software. That makes it really easy to just change everything on board and take this mouse with you wherever you want to go. So in terms of battery life, here is what VAXEE rates the XE-S for. So in standard 1K, you're getting around 110 hours, which is plenty. In competitive mode 1K, you're getting 38, so it cuts it down quite a bit. With 2K polling in competitive mode, you're getting 34 hours, and then 4K, you're getting 30 hours. Personally, I'm running this mouse right now at 2000 hertz polling rate, which is what I do for all of my high polling rate mice. I always run them at 2000 hertz polling rate. And if you're curious as to why, Optimum Tech made a really good video going over polling rates and why 2K is pretty much the optimal polling rate. If you want to check out that video, I'll leave it in the description below. The sensor in this mouse is the PAW3950, and to be honest, all of the top tier gaming mice nowadays perform relatively the same when it comes to sensor performance and input latency. So the main thing you want to look for when buying a mouse nowadays is the shape, because shape is king. So my performance in game with the XE-S has been great. I really had no issues using it whatsoever. It is a little bit small for my hand size, so this is probably not going to be my main mouse moving forward. I would say if you have smaller than 19 by 10 centimeter hands, this mouse is going to be great for you for either claw grip or fingertip. In order to palm grip this mouse, you would really need like really small hands. So this mouse wouldn't be my recommendation if you are a palm gripper, but if you either claw grip or fingertip grip and you have 19 by 10 centimeter hands or smaller, then this mouse would probably suit you very well. In terms of every other aspect such as build quality and clicks and sensor performance, the XE-S is definitely top tier. So at the end of the day, it really just comes down to whether or not you like the shape of the XE-S. If you do like the smaller size of the XE-S and you don't mind that it feels a little bit dense because of the weight, then this mouse is definitely endgame material for you, and it is a solid high tier gaming mouse. So yeah, definitely a very solid mouse, and I do recommend it. I would have liked to see the mouse be priced a little bit cheaper, especially since you don't really get that much in the box. You don't get any extra skates or grip tape like you do with some other mice companies. So it would have been nice to see VAXEE include those extra amenities. That would have been nice, especially given the higher price tag than the original XE and the NP01S, for example. Alright guys, now really quickly, let me touch on the VAXEE PE mousepad that they sent over. So like I said, they have the XL and the L version. This is the XL, and the dimensions of the XL is 520 millimeters wide and 560 millimeters tall. The large version of this pad is 500 millimeters wide and 510 millimeters long. So this box came rolled up, but it actually lies down on the desk very flat, straight out of the box. There was no really break-in period or anything, just immediately out of the box. As I put it on my table, all of the corners are pretty much flat. I mean, these are obviously going over my monitor stands, but if the monitor stands weren't there, they would lie completely flat. So that's very nice. So apparently the black version of this pad is more on the control side, so it's going to be a lot slower. And this colorful version of the pad is a lot more smooth, which I can definitely agree with. This is definitely on the smoother side of control pads, so it's not really like a super mud pad. It kind of reminds me of the Zowie GSR Rouge. The thickness here is around 3.5 millimeters, and the bottom here is a nice rubber material. Really not going to have any issues with this sliding around on your desk. In terms of plushness, there is pretty much no give at all to the pad. It's very hard. So the surface here is very, very hard. If you compare this to something like an Artisan mouse pad, this would definitely be like a mid, even harder than a mid. I would say it's just a very, very hard pad. If I press down on it, like if I zoom in here, and I'm like pressing down on the pad, you can see that there's practically like zero give. Like I am pressing super hard on this pad and it is not pressing down whatsoever. So if you like your mouse pads super hard and like with no plush whatsoever, this is definitely one of the mouse pads for you. But yeah, very cool design, very nice looking pad. Let me see here. The extra large is retailing for $47 USD, this Kumo version specifically. And if you want to pick up the black version, it's $43 USD, so slightly cheaper. And if you want to get the large version, that will cost you $44 USD, so just a couple bucks cheaper. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Huge shout out to VAXEE for sending both the XES out for review as well as their mouse pad. And if you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out, make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.